Thank you, Kim, and very excited to be here, everyone. And we're going to take a look at how Power BI can help you to do just that, to report like a rock star. It's a very powerful application for doing data visualizations, and we're going to get into more of the details around it. Before we do that, just introduce myself. I'm the Director of Product Management here at InterDyn BMI. Been associated with Dynamics GP and the Dynamics product lines for many years. Started off at Great Plains Software in GPA for DOS tech support, and then was one of the first support and training people on the Dynamics GP product line. I said that I started with version 0.5 because I started in support and training about half a year before the product came out to the marketplace, and so I've been working with Dynamics GP for many years, and for the most part for the last 20 years in product management and product marketing with Great Plains and with Microsoft, and been in Fargo for 27 years, and I'm now down in the Minneapolis area with InterDyn BMI. Just a quick little note about InterDyn BMI. We've been in business for over 30 years. We're a Microsoft Gold certified partner, and we have 160 team members in 21 locations around the U.S. So you may not have known the fact that we do have a large presence across the U.S. and ability to help you out with all things Dynamics and as well as all things Power BI. So our objectives for the day are going to take a look at how Power BI can help you and your organization. We'll look at the pricing and the packaging of the application, and then we'll get into the product itself, and we'll look at connecting into data sets and the types of visualizations that you can create and the types of data that you can utilize with Power BI. It's a very, very flexible application. So we'll just take a look in this next section at what Power BI is, the benefits of the application, and the benefits for you in using it within your organization, and we'll look at the pricing and the packaging around it as well. So I think at this point, though, Kim, let's stop for a moment and just take a poll of everyone. I'd like to get a sense for people's understanding of Power BI. So let's open up that first poll.
Excellent. All right, everybody, get a chance to push one. So let's go ahead and select which makes the most sense. So far, 40% of you have voted. I'm going to be getting ready to close this down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, with 80%, this is what we have learned. So just starting to learn about Power BI, that makes a lot of sense. It's so true. It is pretty new, Mark, and it is exciting. So good for you to have these folks on the line.
All right. Well, this will be a good webinar for you to be in then. So we'll get you that sort of that 30,000 foot view, and then we'll go down a little ways into the application, but I think give you a good sense for not only what it is, what it can do, but probably some ideas too of how you might be able to utilize it within your own organization. I think first though, before we jump to Power BI, let's just stop for a second and talk about what is business intelligence, because this is a word that's been around for a number of years, and it's something that oftentimes people have different ideas about what it really is. But business intelligence is all about focusing on bringing computing power with your knowledge and experience, and then being able to help your organization make the best choices. So when we combine that computing power with applications like Power BI, along with your knowledge and experience, you're going to be able to make more informed decisions. And I think this quote from BI for Dummies sums it up. It's essentially timely, accurate, high value, and actionable business insights in the work processes and technologies used to obtain them. So it's not just about technology, it's also about your business processes. It's about how you are working with data and data management within your own organization. And the purpose of a business intelligence system is to help you to produce accurate, high valuable, high actionable information. So the processes and the tools that you put in place for a BI system, with that, your goal should be to increase the validity and frequency of insights about your organization, so you're learning, you're making more informed decisions to help your organization grow. And I think Insight does a really good job of encompassing the deliverables that flow from a good BI project. That insight plus your organization's industry and business experience are going to help you make more informed decisions. So as you're looking at BI tools and looking at reporting across your organization, also think about the processes that support them and the technologies that are going to support them in order to help you to learn more, because you're really looking at insights, learning, informed decisions, and then as you make those decisions, you're looking at how do I flow what I've learned back into that next set of decisions that I'm going to make. So it's a continuous process that you're doing across your organization. So then with that said, let's talk a little bit about some of the technology, and in this case, Microsoft Power BI. It's a suite of self-service business analytics tools that help you to analyze data and then share the insights that you've gained from that out across your organization. It really helps you to transform your company's data into rich, organized visuals that are going to help you focus on what matters and make better business decisions. And that gets accomplished through KPIs like charts, graphs, scorecards, tables, maps, and is accessible from the device of your choice. So you can access Power BI from the web. There's a desktop version, which is what I'm going to show today, and there's a mobile version as well. And it works with multiple back-end systems like ERP systems, web analytics applications, mail systems, CRM systems, and it allows you to be able to share those insights in your dashboards with your colleagues if you're an Office 365 user. So think about Power BI. Think of it as it's an entry-level solution, and it has a very high ceiling to it. So there are certainly a lot more powerful alternatives out in the marketplace, but you're going to pay 5 to 6 figures higher for them than what you're going to pay for Microsoft Power BI. And there are a number of different differentiating features with Power BI. The dashboards are one. You can see all of the data through a single dashboard. You can create unique dashboards for different parts of your organization, one for sales, one for operations as an example. And these dashboards can be live, so they'll show you the visualizations and the KPIs from the data that resides in your on-premise systems, and you can combine that with cloud data as well. So you can get a consolidated view across your business regardless of where the data lives. There's also an aspect to Power BI called natural language query, and that simplifies how you interact with the data. So once you publish information out to others within your organization to use, they can actually write queries about that data to get answers back. So they might want to know what were total sales in Q4 for United States. And they can write out a natural language query like that, maybe a little bit more natural than what I just said there, but they can use that then to explore the data, and Power BI will return back to them an answer within seconds, literally. And then through the Power BI desktop, it's a very powerful visual data exploration and interactive tool that allows you to be able to drag and drop information out onto a canvas, and then you can start to work with that to find out what information exists within a data set, use those visualizations, create visualizations, test them, and then if it looks good, you can take that visualization and publish that back out to the Power BI service. And then lastly, there are the mobile apps. And Power BI has native apps for Android, iOS, and Windows to allow people within your organization to connect in, view the data, and share information from that data out with other colleagues across the organization. And then lastly, there are content packs. There's a content pack that's available for Microsoft CRM, for Dynamics GP, and these are pre-built solutions that allow you to be able to ease the experience of using Power BI. They're connected in, they understand the GP data structure, and you can use these pre-built visualizations to connect into your Dynamics GP data or your Microsoft CRM data, and very quickly then start to see information about your organization without having to go through the process of creating visualizations. It's going to be a great way for you to be able to get used to Power BI, see how it works, and from there springboard into creating your own visualizations using the tool. And then it allows you to be able to connect into data that matters. So as I mentioned, there are content packs that are available for a lot of the applications that you see displayed here. But you can also utilize Power BI, and through the data connections that have already been created within it, you can connect into these various applications. So Dynamics CRM, Dynamics GP. If you're using MailChimp for your mail services, there's a connector for that. If you're storing information up in Microsoft Azure, you can connect into Azure databases and bring that information in. So there's not only Microsoft specific apps, but third-party apps if you're using Salesforce. There's a connector for Salesforce as well. So you've got a lot of different options for applications that you can connect into and different database types. So not just SQL Server, but if you want to connect into Oracle or DB2 databases, there are connectors for that. And then there's also connectors where you can just connect directly to Excel and take Excel spreadsheets that you're already using and leverage that to be able to bring that data into Power BI and create visualizations based off of that. So it's also something that I found if you know Excel or if you know SQL Server, you're going to find moving into Power BI to be a very natural step because a lot of the same actions and commands that you've used in those other applications are being used inside of Power BI. Pricing and packaging. There are two packages that are available with Microsoft Power BI, and it is actually free. It's not a trial version. You can share reports and dashboards with other Power BI users if you've got an Office 365 license using the free version. You've got content refreshes that you can do once a day, and you can consume up to 10,000 rows of streaming data per hour through the free version. And a good example of where you might stream data is if you're using Google Analytics to collect information about your website, you can then take that data from your website and stream that into Power BI and use that to supply information into visuals that might be tracking and monitoring what's happening out on your website. If you wanted to go with Power BI Pro, then it's effectively $10 per user per month. You get up to 10 gigabytes of data capacity per user. You can schedule 8 content refreshes 8 times per day. And a content refresh might be something where you've got Power BI going out 8 times a day, pulling data in from your GP database and maybe your Microsoft CRM database to combine that and refresh and update the visualizations that you have. You can consume 1 million rows of streaming data per hour with Power BI Pro, and you can also create and publish your own content packs out to your business. So a few additional things that you're going to get there with Power BI Pro, but in terms of functionality, the free version has the same level of functionality today that's in Power BI Pro. I don't know how long that will last. I suspect that at some point in time here Microsoft will start to add in some features and functionality to Power BI Pro, but for right now it's free and it's a full working version. You're not going to get any of the adware or the nagware. It's really a nice experience when you use that free version. So in terms of Power BI benefits, there are a lot of benefits with this application. It's going to give you dashboards that help you to gain more insight about your organization and help you to make more informed decisions. More people across your organization can access this information to help them make decisions. So it is a tool that you can then push out across the organization, as well as something that you know that's the information that we're going off of, as opposed to people having their own versions of an Excel spreadsheet that they save, and they're making decisions based off of that, and somebody else might be making decisions off of a little bit slightly different version of an Excel spreadsheet. With Power BI, you can say, no, this is our one version of the truth. We publish it here, and this is where you go to get the information. And then once people start to use that, they can also create their own personalized dashboards if you want to give them the security rights to do that. And they can take existing KPIs and charts and create something that's personalized for them and for their organization. Or if they would like, they can they can modify it, they can extend off of that, and they can create their own dashboards and reports from scratch, and things that will meet their needs, or maybe something that is going to pull data from an application that's unique to their part of the organization. So a lot of benefits with Power BI, and one of those, of course, is the free aspect to it when you start to use it. So we've taken a look at what Power BI is. It's a data visualization tool, free tool that's available from Microsoft just came out a year ago. Has not been on the market for long, but has really kind of taken the market by storm. Microsoft is saying that there are over 500 million downloads of Power BI around the world just within that year. So a lot of benefits in terms of how you can connect into different data sources, use it with mobile applications, and as well as being able to disseminate that information out across your organization. So let's take a look at how Power BI works, and we're going to take a look at connecting, how we connect into different data sources. I'll show how we can connect into Excel spreadsheets as well. We'll take a look at creating visualizations, and I'll show you multiple examples of visualizations that can be created. And then we'll look at collaborating, and I'll just briefly touch on how you would publish a dashboard out into the Microsoft Power BI service. Before we do that, though, Kim, let's do our second polling question, and I'd like to find out just a little bit more about what people are looking for in Power BI and what excites them the most about the application.
Sounds great. What Power BI feature most interests you? Go ahead and let's vote. Okay, around half of you have voted. I'm going to get ready to close this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, with 83% voted, here we go. Ability to create from multiple data sources is the number one answer.
All right. Well, I'll touch on that a little bit here then as we get into Power BI. So let's jump in. You should be seeing the Power BI desktop.
Yes, we do.
And it's going to actually look a little bit familiar, doesn't it? There's, of course, it's a Microsoft product. There's a ribbon coming across the top. At the bottom, you might notice something familiar too. I've got different tabs. And within each of these tabs, I have different charts and visualizations that I've created. And then over to the left here, I can take a look at my reports that have been created. If I would like, I could look at the data behind those reports. Power BI also gives you the capability to go in and edit your data so that you can bring in multiple data sources. I've brought in information here from multiple Excel spreadsheets, and I'll give you a visualization of that. Here are the different spreadsheets, and what I've done is to map those together. So through this part of Power BI, I've gone in and I've connected these two spreadsheets based off of the manufacturer ID. These two, I've gone in and I've connected those based off of the product ID. So you get the idea. You've got the capability to very easily come in here and just say, well, product ID here to product ID here, and connect data sources together. So visual and very easy to see the columns of information that are within those data sources, and then very easy to be able to connect them together and manage the relationships between the data sources. But then you've also got that capability then when you come in here and you go into look at the data source, you actually would go into edit queries and go into edit queries, and then you can go in and massage the data, and you can also create calculated fields. So if you'd like to be able to get information about total sales and total sales as a percentage of last year's sales, you have a capability to come in, create a calculated field, and use the formula language, very much like you would do inside of Excel, to create that calculated field, and then use that calculated field in your visualizations. So I'm going to just come back here and take a look at the reports. We have the capability here to go out and get data. And like I mentioned, you saw some of the different data sources that are available to you, and there's just a few of them listed here, Excel being one, SQL Server, SQL Server analysis services. But if I come in here and click on more, you'll get the full list of everything that's available here. So I can pull data from multiple sources here, including SharePoint folder, an Access database, IBM Sybase, and if we come down here a little bit further, then you'll see a Microsoft Azure SQL Server databases Exchange. might not have thought about this, but you could actually utilize Exchange and start to do visualizations based upon the calendar email information that's based there inside of Exchange. CRM Online, Facebook. If Facebook is important to your marketing efforts, start bringing data in. Start using Power BI to visualize that data and help you make some decisions around how your marketing efforts are actually performing through Facebook. So all of the different data sources are here, and then you would just go ahead, select the correct one, and pretty soon I know that Dynamics GP will be showing up here as one of those data sources, as will Dynamics Nav. And then there's a Nav content pack and a GP content pack as well. So I would just go ahead, choose a source, click on Connect, and that's going to bring the data in. It'll go through a process to bring that in, and then I can go in and I can add a query, and I can clean that data up. And there might be some things that I just don't need, and I want to not include in with my visualizations and calculated fields that I want to create. So once that's done, I can start bringing it in and creating visualizations, and I'll just expand out the Visualizations tab. Here are all of the different visualizations that come prepackaged within Power BI, and there are many more that get created. So you can actually come out here and you could say, I would like to import a custom visual, and you can actually go out, and on the powerbi.com website there are multiple visuals that are being added on a regular basis. So you could pull a visual in that you'd like to start using and immediately put it to use with your data. So it's really just an excellent system in terms of also what you've got available inside and then what you can do and pull in, because Microsoft is updating it on a monthly basis. There are monthly updates that they're doing, and it's really just a matter of a couple of minutes, load up the update, and you've got some new features. They just recently announced the ability to be able to do visualizations based off of text. And what that means is that you could actually have a list of, maybe you've got a list of websites and you're going, wow, I wanted to get through this list. I wanted to read all of these different websites in regards to a particular topic. You can actually import that list into into Power BI, and then you can have it analyze it, and it'll analyze the common words and then give you information about what are the commonalities across that list of websites. So analyzing text, some very interesting things that you can start to do with it. So we have this visualizations that are available, and I'll show you some of those here. The first thing that we're looking at, though, is just a very standard matrix report. And this is something you might be creating already through Dynamics GP or through Management Reporter, but it's just a very simple report, and I can interact with it, change the months up and down if I would like. And that's very easy to do. I do also have then some other visualizations where I start to use things called slicers. So now I have what's called a 100% bar graph here, and you'll notice that when I hover over an area of it, I get a pop-up. Tells me what product category I'm looking at, the segment, and then gives me the total sales. In this case, it happens to be total sales for 2015. But by using the slicer, I can go back and I say, I'd like to look at 2013 data. And when I do 2013, and also I'm looking at it just for January, you'll notice that both of these charts changed, and the information about the charts changed. So this slicer tool, when you start to create your visualizations, becomes a very powerful way for you to be able to say, I like to just do that quick analysis. So now I'd like to look at it for August of 2013, and all of my information changes. And this bottom visualization is one that's called a tree visualization. It just puts, in this case, it's total sales by manufacturer, and it puts it in priority. So I can just see who's first, second, third, fourth, but I see that based upon the dollar amounts of total sales that we had with them, I see the sizing based on the whole. So we're going to take a look at some of these. We'll just create a brand new canvas here. I'm going to show you a couple of visualizations that we can create. This one I really like. It's called the card visualization, and it allows you to be able to get one number. Have you ever had that time where you're going like, you know what, I don't want to read through a multi-page report just to get one number? Can I just go somewhere and somebody will say, here's the number? Well, that's what you can do with this card visualization. It's, you know, I'm showing you total sales. It might be total units. I don't know, maybe in your organization you just need to know head count. Hey, what's the head count? I could get that information right there from a card. Now with these cards too, I can also format the information inside of here. So I can take this, I'm going to come over here and I've got my little, I'm showing the fields here and I've got my format tool. But I can create a data label for this. I can just say that I'd like to have my data label to be maybe a different color. And we'll put that in yellow, and I might want that to be just a little bit larger than what it is, so I can also increase that. So I can do that. I can also change the background. Maybe I want to add a background to this, and I'm going to make that that color. We'll just make that black with some yellow. I've got a certain pro football team that I'm a favorite of, so you might be able to guess who that is from there. But nonetheless, I can add a title to this, and we could say that this is just going to be total global sales, and I would like to put that also in yellow, center that, and then I'll make that to be a little bit larger as well. Okay, so you can do it, and with any of the visualizations, you can do this kind of formatting and add in color if you would like. You can even bring in text and just put some text in there so that you could put a title bar across the top of your dashboard and people know exactly what it is. So let's take a look at something else now, a line stacked column chart that, that we can use. And get this one here. I'll bring this over. All right, so I'm going to bring this one in here as a brand new visualization. And so we're going to go look at all of this information based off on a quarterly basis. And we want to take a look at within our products, we're going to break this down by category. And then we're going to take a look at year-to-date sales. So year-to-date sales by quarter, by category. And let me see here. I think I got the wrong visualization. Line stacked column chart. Here's what I want to do. So now I've got a graphic that shows me quarter by quarter all of my sales, and then it breaks it down by the different categories. And again, I can hover over. But the other thing that I'd like to do is to see where total units came in across all of this. So now I can add a line that goes through this, and I can just hover over and I can see total units in Q1, total units in quarter 2. So now I'm able to pretty quickly take a look at sales units by quarter broken down by category. Quick, easy to do that. Again, once you know your data and what you're working with, you can take a look at these visualizations, and if that's not quite the one that you're looking for, it's pretty easy to change it out, look at it a little bit differently, and break it out in a different way. Let's take a look at another one. We'll take a look at how we can map information. So we have here a capability to be able to use maps. Oops, let's see, not that one. I'm going to use a different map. There's another map over here, a global map. We'll use that one. And we're just going to take a look at information based upon our year-to-date sales by location. And we'll look at this and the different sales that we want to look at based upon country. Oops. Sorry about this. I'm going to get this right. We'll move this around. There we go. So, and then we've got our color saturation. We'll go this way. And now I can see that within each of these countries, where am I selling the most? So I can see it's in the U.S. Again, I can hover over and I can see the total amounts there. I can see that I'm selling some up here in Canada, and a little bit down in Mexico, and then over in Europe I can see France and Germany have some sales as well. So what Power BI is doing is it's going out, it's utilizing Bing, it's grabbing that map from Bing to bring it in, and then based upon the information that I drop in here, it's going to go ahead and color that and show me that information. So you think of this kind of a visualization where if you're working, maybe you're just working within the U.S. across various states, now I can get a map and I can see maybe month by month, or I can combine the slicer and I could use that slicer information and I could see color saturation based off of the states. I can choose, well, what were my sales this month in this year and see how the color saturations change. So I've got ways that I can look at information that way. I've got something here too, is I can actually play my data. And I really love this one because it's a very interesting visualization. And there's this little play functionality down here that allows me to be able to see year over year which segments of my products grew and did they diminish in any way. I can just kind of watch the trends that happened, historical trends that happened. And if I'd like to see some information, I can always come back to a specific part of this, and we'll grab our little bar here. So if I might want to see, well, in 2008, kind of watching my my moderation and my my convenience. Oh, so between 2008 and 2009, I can see that in terms of total sales, moderation segment overtook my convenience segment. So let me just show you how this kind of a visualization can be created. So we're going to create a scatter chart visualization, and we're going to start with that. And then we're going to take our total sales. I'm going to bring that in. We're going to bring in also our total units as well. Let me just expand that out. I'll make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so we've got total sales and total units on our chart. And then we're also going to look at this by category and by segment. So I'm going to bring category here, and then we're going to bring segment onto here as well. So I've got that, and then I need to also get my year-to-date sales. So I'm going to bring year-to-date sales onto here. Now I've got some more information. Now it's starting to take shape. And then we want to break this down by year. So we're going to take a look at our date information, and we're going to pull this in by year. Now, when I pulled in year, that's what brought in this little, what's called over here, the play axis. So I've got that information there. I'm looking at this all by category. It's based off of segment. That's my legend. Total sales for my x-axis, total units for my y-axis, year-to-date sales, that's driving the size of the bubbles. And then we're going to play this over the years. And you probably notice too how the years change up here as well. So it's a way that you can visually see information about your data, maybe spot some trends that were happening, maybe alert yourself to something that needs to get addressed right away. But you'll notice that in, I mean, literally a matter of minutes, less than a minute, we had that all created. So as we know our data and we understand our data, we can use Power BI to start to play around with it, to start to do some what-ifs and see information much more than we ever could inside of a printed report that we're going to get out of an Excel spreadsheet or out of our ERP application. So that was at sales, units by category. A couple of other different types of charts that you can create visualizations are things that are called waterfall charts, and they just show you basically increases and decreases year over year. Allows you to be able to hover and just see, well, what was the total. In this year, 2009, we had a sales decrease, and then things started to come back up. These waterfall charts can be really good to take a look at sales or product information on a yearly basis. And then I've got another one here that just shows me, it's using a filter, shows me my top products. So it allows me to be able to come in and say, well, for 2015, what were my top selling products? And now you'll notice I've got sales by product, and then I've got units by product. And now I can start to see top products by units sold and by revenue sales, and start to do some comparisons and see how things have performed in the past. So a lot of different visualizations are available to you to use. As I mentioned, they're all up here. And then once you're done and you've got, example, I've got this dashboard ready to go, I can actually just come up here to the Publish button, and I can choose to publish my dashboard out to the Power BI service. I don't know if this is going to work just based upon my connection right here, but it will go through. It's going to ask where would you like to publish this within Power BI, and then I can choose the workspaces that are there. And then within Power BI, I can create groups. I can create workspaces within those groups and allow people to have access, or I can create workspaces and I can create groups, and then I allow people to have access to those workspaces. So I can have a sales workspace and then publish my visualizations and dashboards out to that. So very easy to use, and I think you can see that it's pretty exciting with what you can get out of the product and the things that you can do with it. So I would highly recommend download that free version, play around with it, connect it into your Excel spreadsheets. I told you I was going to show you that. Let me just show you quickly here, because it is pretty easy. Right here I can just come into Open, and I can just direct Power BI out to my Excel spreadsheet, pull that data in. I can do it here from Get Data. I can just say Get Data, Excel, and point it to an Excel workbook, and it pulls the data right in for me. So very easy to do and very easy to get started with the application. So some considerations though, as you're taking a look at Power BI, maybe looking at how do we improve our existing reporting and BI solutions, some things is just to keep in mind. The reality is, and you all already know this, but you're only going to get out of something what you put into it. Or as the computer geeks like to say, garbage in, garbage out. So if you are going to live and die by the reporting and the dashboards that you create, you need to make sure that you have a really strong data capture and data maintenance plan in place. Take care to plan out your data sources, the data quality standards, data cleansing, error checking, and ongoing maintenance of your data to ensure you have high quality data that's then helping you to make high quality decisions. And if you're in an industry where your data has to adhere to government policies and laws, then you want to make sure that you're integrating that compliance into your data management plan as well. But a strong data management plan is going to result in reliable, trustworthy reporting and data analysis, which will increase what you learn about your business, your customers, and your industry. And Power BI has been recognized by market analysts as a leader. You can see here that Microsoft is right up in the upper quadrant as a leader on this Gartner chart. And both Forrester and Gartner have said a lot of very nice things about Power BI, and they feel that it's really the application for doing data visualizations that a lot of businesses should be looking at and deploying across their organizations. So before we get into it, we're going to spend some time here just to answer any questions that you might have. Just to recap though, what is Microsoft Power BI? It's a very powerful suite of self-service business analysis tools that'll help you analyze data, share insights, and it can help you transform your company's data into rich, organized visuals to focus people on what really matters and help them make better business decisions. And you're going to do that, as you saw, through the KPIs like charts and graphs and scorecards and maps. And it's something that you can access from anywhere at any time through any type of a device. So a web version, desktop version, and a mobile version, ready for iOS, for Android, and for Microsoft phones. And it works with multiple different types of back-end systems like Dynamics GP, Dynamics Nav, Microsoft CRM, web analytics apps like Google Analytics or MailChimp or Salesforce. Be able to bring in all of that data, combine it together, and from there create some really interesting and some really cool reports and dashboards. And then as you use Office 365, you can then share out that information with your colleagues across your organization. So think about Power BI as that entry-level solution that's got a lot of ceiling to it. And as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of more powerful alternatives that are out in the marketplace, but you are definitely going to be paying a lot more for them. And I think that with Power BI, this is something that you can get into, you can get started, and really play around with it for no investment other than your time, and see what's possible for us to do here in the area of data visualizations and business intelligence. So my contact information is right here, and you can certainly feel free to call me direct. My Twitter is Mark D. Jensen, and of course email is always available, and reach out to us and connect with us over our website at interdynbmi.com. So at this point in time, let's turn it over, Kim, to any questions that people might have.
There we go. Finally, it came off mute. So excellent. On the right-hand side, everybody, there's a question area. You can type in. So far, I've gotten congratulations, great presentation. But let's see if you have any questions that you would like asked. Mark, what's a common question? I mean, you have been working with Power BI for some time. When you look at people, most folks here have not gotten involved. We're here to learn about what it's for, but what are some common questions that you do here?
Well, we do get a lot of questions about utilizing Excel spreadsheets and whether or not data is live or not. For the most part, with an Excel spreadsheet, you're going to be using static information, and people will ask, well, can I get live data off of that Excel spreadsheet? It really kind of depends on whether or not you've got that spreadsheet set up to be going out and refreshing on a regular basis. Most of the time, people don't. They're using Excel spreadsheets, and it's static data. So if that spreadsheet's not getting updated and refreshed on a regular basis, your Power BI dashboards won't either. So that's just something that has to be considered. Another common question that I get is just in terms of being able to use it with GP. And until recently, we really didn't have a direct data source, and I've been told by Microsoft that very shortly here the content pack for GP will be released, and you'll also see Dynamics GP as a data source within that list of data sources inside of Power BI. So that also would then just kind of lead into just a recommendation that if you're not familiar with the GP data, the data tables themselves, would be a good thing to do and to learn more about as you bring it in. And a good way to do that is actually just start with smart lists. And you can start with the smart list functionality inside of GP to help you become more familiar with the data, and then from there start to bring that into Power BI. Actually, at the upcoming Let's Learn live event, I'll be showing Power BI utilizing data out of GP, and the way that I got that data out of GP was just to use smart lists and send it into an Excel file.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, the question is, now it is kind of confusing because, what do we ever get for free? But Power BI, there is a free version as part of Excel, and then there's also a paid version. Can you go through that a little bit for Steve?
Sure. So the free version and the paid version have the same sets of functionality. So the differences come in is just with the amount of data storage and streaming data, as well as the ability to create your own content packs. And with the Power BI, with the paid version, you have up to 10 gigabytes of storage per person. You have the ability to stream I'm trying to remember, you can refresh the content up to 8 times a day, and you can stream a million bytes, or just you can stream a million pieces of data an hour. into the service. So with the Power BI Pro, if you get into where you're really looking at, hey, we work with some very large data sets. We've got Google Analytics, and we want to start creating visualizations based off of our website and website activity. Power BI Pro is probably going to be something that you would want to look at. Or, another reason to use Power BI Pro would be, hey, we want to be able to refresh more than once a day. I want to know that at least 4 times a day the information I'm looking at has been refreshed. So that's another thing with Power BI is just that ability to refresh up to 8 times a day.
Yeah.
And you've got more current information. Yeah.
Really good point. So the good news is there is a free version. And what I have found with users is that's typically how they get started. They play around until they come up with the reports that they're looking for, and then they start jumping into handing this out to other people and getting more people involved. So thank you. Resources. Now, Mark, you're pretty fresh because this is a new product offering out there. What were some of the best resources that you found in learning Power BI?
Oh, good question. Yes. There is a complete Power BI course available at edx.com, edx.com. They've partnered up with Microsoft, and so if you go out there and you look at the course, you're going to see, oh, it's Microsoft people. I'm learning directly from Microsoft, and it's free. That's a nice part of it too. So you've got a free product with free training. And through edx.com, they've also got a great way for watching the videos and then testing your learning as you go through it. So I highly recommend that. And what I can do, Kim, is I can send you the course information with the link, and we can get that out to everybody if they'd like to go to see that. It is also accessible through the Dynamics Learning Portal. So if you are a customer source member, you can go into Customer Source, the Dynamics Learning Portal, and do a search for Power BI. You'll find that same course available to you. And then other than that, go to PowerBI.com. Microsoft's doing a great job of putting new videos out on PowerBI.com, blog posts. So you're going to find a lot of information out there as well.
Excellent. And not to mention, you've done a number of presentations also for the new Power BI users group as well. So if you are involved with GPUG, NAVUG, AXUG, so forth, then a lot of times that membership is included. So you can also take a look at that website as well.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I don't see any other questions in the queue, so thank you, Mark, very much. And yes, valuable resources. That's terrific. And I hope everyone got excited because getting your hands around your information, taking data and putting it into the right format for executives to see will make you look like a rock star. So, Mark, as always, you are a presenter rock star. Thank you very much for today's presentation.
Thank you all. Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.